Hi everybody, welcome back to Ma Bien-Aimée Bye Bye by Christine and the Queens, also known more recently as Redcar, because his latest album was called Redcar and it featured this particular track on the album. Now the new performance video which we're going to see shows Redcar has performed in support of the new album, with the final run of his shows in London concluding November the 22nd in the NME. The video shows footage of Redcar performing at the Circuit de Hiver venue in his hometown of Paris, France. Throughout the performance video, Redcar's vocals overwhelmed the landscape, as we're going to see, showcasing passionate singing and screams amongst the mesmerizing riffs we're about to hear and drums in the background. The singer performs a dance, a ritual throughout the video, slowly removing his dress as the song comes to a close. The musician's Instagram account described this performance as a love letter to whatever theatre can allow for someone, anyone, as a fantastical machine of transmutation, a safe place where imagination is being held by us all in the same place to heal and alchemize all the intricacies of this human experience. Now, if people are wondering who this artist is, professionally known as Christine and the Queens, and more recently again Redcar, or occasionally simply Chris. The French singer and songwriter was raised in Nantes. He started learning piano at the age of 4, found inspiration in one of London's clubs while studying, and the surname of the artist is called Leteste, and released a series of extended plays throughout 2011 and 2013. It wasn't until 2016 he was ranked #1 in Vanity Fair's list of the most powerful and influential French people who promote French geniuses, ahead of the country's president. The next year, Forbes placed him on the list of the 30 most influential and talented people under 30, and Time included him on the list of the next generation of leaders twice, in 16 and 18. His accolades include 4 Victorias of Music, awarded by the French Ministry of Culture, and Christine and the Queens have been signed to an independent record label, Because Music, since 2012. Now, when it comes to sexuality and gender, Leciter is pansexual. And pansexual, for those that don't know, doesn't form into transgender or bisexuality. Pansexuality is a person who is sexually romantic or emotionally attracted towards people regardless of their gender, their sex or gender identity. Pansexual people may refer to themselves as gender blind, asserting that gender and sex are not determining factors in their romantic or sexual attraction towards a person. So pansexuality is the category that Leciter falls underneath, for those that need to know, because the video showcases, I think, the shedding of what she was formerly known as and what he is formerly known as now. She was formerly Christine and the Queens, and he would rather now be referred to as Redcar. So I must incorporate that into a special thumbnail that I'll create for this video afterward. But until then, I have the lyrics in front of me for the song. We are going to enjoy it. It's the live version. And let's just sit back and savor this award-winning, very important, influential artist that everybody French-speaking knows and adores, and we non-French-speaking people, hit the translation button, will become to love, because over 2023 I shall be featuring more of what he has to offer us musically. Why? Take a look at this and it'll give you a taste, coming up to Christmas 2022, of the artist now known as Redcar.
Welcome to dimension. The one I'm locked with light.
Bye, bye, ma bien-aimée, bye bye. Je t'aimerai till I die. Je t'aimerai till I die. So long, my baby long gone. Je t'ai vu qu'un instant. Je t'ai vu qu'un instant. Fidèle à la lumière, fidèle. Je tendrai ma belle, je tendrai ma belle. Enfin, ton plaisir n'est qu'un instant. Tu resteras tout contre moi. Immortel, inchangé. Ton visage en été. Bye bye, ma bien-aimée, bye bye. Bye wife till I die. Bye wife till I die. Soudain, échappée de dans mes mains, elle m'aimait bien. Elle m'aimait bien. Bye bye. Soudain, allongé contre le mien, j'aime comme ça les hommes comme toi, qui se laissent aimer comme toi. Hey.
It holds your attention, doesn't it? Exactly. There's a lot of symbolism in that video, I have to say. And as I said, we've read out what it's about, but some people are saying it's all about her shedding her former self from Christine and the Queens and any femininity towards that side of her to become Redcar, who, even in research that I've done recently about the new album, they now refer to the artist as he. So my aim bye-bye, I feel, could be that, but we'll go into that in a minute. But I want to say it's from the Redcar Les Adobra Etoiles album, just being released. That'll be, as always, in the link and the description to this video, and this video comes in over 32 languages. Make sure you click on to what I'm about to say now about the whole video. I really enjoyed that, I have to say. But to the lyrics, as you've heard, it was part French, part English. The lyrics start, bye bye my beloved, bye bye, I'll love you till I die, I'll love you till I die, so long, oh my baby long gone, I only saw you for a moment, I only saw you for a moment. When she came on with the dress, it was almost like that fluffy ball gown, feminine type of dress that we associate with a princess in the ball situation. And there she is coming in, fluffing it about, and slowly but surely she starts to unravel the dress and she's getting rid of it. And so when she says, I love you till I die, she'll always be grateful that she was loved. She'll always be grateful to her mother, to the love she received from her mother, because I feel almost like it's a poem to her mother. Look, mother, I was born into the world a woman, but I grew up to be myself, and this is what I am. Almost like a homage. The song is to telling her mother, this is what I've become. And so it's symbolic. She comes in with the fluffy dresses, maybe when she was a young girl. Let's just say was dressed in a dress and all of those things. So there she is going in, and she says, so long my baby, you've gone. So now she's paying homage to her former self. I saw you for only a moment. In other words, it's almost like when you close your eyes and you think, you see a former reflection of yourself, and what you see in the mirror is totally different. And it continues, faithful in the faithful light, I will wait for my beautiful. I will wait for my beautiful. So she talks about she will just wait as a person, an artist, a being who has a heart that beats, for that person to accept her for now what she truly is. It continues, child, your pleasure is but a moment, you will stay close to me. In other words, that brought home to me, child, your pleasure is but a moment, you will stay close to me. That's almost like her mother whispering to her, you'll always be my little girl. And then it continues, immortal, unchanged, your face in summer. So she's back to almost saying, it could be about herself, it could be continuing about her mother's immortal to her, unchanged, your face, even in the summer, is still the same, your persona is still the same, your attitude, your positivity. And then it says, bye-bye, my beloved, bye-bye. You're my wife till I die. You're my wife till I die. So it definitely is the split self. The former Christine and the Waves, who's now Redcar, the former person we all refer to as she, is now he. Pansexuality, as I've read out before, and it was an important factor, is about love towards both sexes. So she still has a love towards both sexes, but she's just saying, at this stage of my life in my music career, it's bye-bye to Christine and the Waves. I'd like to be known as Redcar now, as well as being Chris, and more in tune with the masculinity side of me. Because, you know, this thing about, this is very confusing, it's very simple. A lot of women are born with a high level of testosterone. We always associate it to men. And a lot of men are born with a lot of femininity traits that we all associate with women. It happens even with straight men and straight women who go on to marry and do what we perceive as the normal thing. But when you're in this situation of expressionism, of mutation, which this was symbolic in the video. She's mutating the past to say, I'm just as comfortable as being me. Here I am. And even in the video, it's like the red top, the black trousers was underneath the fluffy gown, and she's become himself, if that makes sense. And it's bye-bye. You're my wife. You're my wife. You'll always be my feminine side, my beautiful fluffy gown side, sister child that my mother used to love me dressing in. But now I'm Redcar with the red top, black trousers, more masculine, because this is how I am. This is how I want to express myself musically now. And suddenly slipped into my hand, she liked me. She liked me. That's in reference to herself. The former Christine is liking the Redcar side to her, because the two are as one. It's like two heartbeats that beat as one. And then he continues, bye-bye, suddenly lying against mine. I love that men like you. So it's almost a homage to her former self. I love that men liked you, but I hope you equally love, as a woman's, how women will like me as Redcar. And it continues, bye-bye, my beloved, bye-bye, my wife till I die. So long, oh my baby, long gone. So in other words, she came to the recognition, Christine and the Waves, there was another side to her. And Redcar was always within, but needed to be developed musically. The persona needed to be developed. The visual needed to be developed. So people knew that this pansexual side to her existed. She had a love for both sides of her personality, but needed to express it. And very cleverly, she's done that. And I can see why Francis critiqued her and honoured her and said she's one of the most influential, because the complexity and the multi-layers that you would need to explain this side of you musically and to still be accepted, which Redcar is. I know it's lesser to her, but I'm going to refer this artist to her artistic name. It's just something that's spellbinding. The life will last forever, this colour here, this colour here. From the very first morning of summer, who binds you to me? Who binds you to me? So she continues to go in depth into the layers of, who says I can't be Redcar? Who says I just have to be Christine to be accepted? Who says? That's the question, simply. Well, as she continues, my beloved, goodbye, I'll love you till I die. Christine, so long, oh baby, long gone. I only saw you for an instant. In other words, you were part of my life. I only saw you for an instant, just a part. And to the light faithful, it continues, I will wait for my dear, I will wait for my dear. So it repeats, the whole lyrics repeat itself, and I'll wait until I find that wonderful person in my life that'll accept me for what I am. And it continues with, which I feel is a mother-child thing that she's reflecting on. Child, your pleasure is but a moment. You will remain tight against me. In other words, the mother will never lose love for her as a son or a daughter, whomever she decides to be in her persona or his persona, because at the end of the day, you're still my child and I'm still your mother. So it continues, suddenly escaped within my hand. She liked me. She liked me. So that's now going into a homage of the mother accepted me. And she likes herself, Christine, and is saying to almost to herself, yeah, I'm Christine, but I'm also Redcar. And Christine likes Redcar. And Redcar likes, I can live within myself with two personas, with two personalities, with two musical ways of expressing myself. This is the balance for me. This is how my life is. This is what I accept. I like me. And the emotional face, lost outside, is, in other words, she's emotional, she's sensitive, and she's giving. But she says goodbye against me, suddenly lying against mine. I like this the way men like you. So when she throws the dress down and she's stamping on it, and she lets out that exaltation of air, and she goes like that. Excuse me today for my dry throat. And she says that, it's just a sense of relief. Oh, now the world can see me holding Christine in one hand but being me in the other, visually. And again, my beloved, bye-bye, so long, this life will... But this life will last in eternity. This colour. In other words, Red Car will last, Christine will last, calling the artist Chris will last, Lessiter will last, because she'll always write songs and perform music. So the two personas will always continue. And the life will last in eternity, because that's her. She'll last until her last breath, of the very first morning of summer that ties you to me, In other words, like summer, we all think of sunshine and laughter and warm, relaxing days. Well, she's relaxed. And it doesn't have to be about summer. It's all year round for her. That Christine is tied. Both personalities are tied as one. Her heart's beating as one, musically, and always will be. I think it's a very intricate, layered song, and I hope you enjoyed my bio and my analysis of it. Take care for now. Bye-bye.